Brodes Media.
I had to watch the Rangers win the World Series last night, and they beat down the Diamondbacks in 5 games. That Diamondbacks team stinks. I cannot believe you lost to them. You had 2 home games at Citizens Bank Park to get yourself to the final series, and you blew it. You absolutely blew it. I will think about this until I'm dead. I will be in my casket. My family will be walking through the funeral home, and they will be seeing me in an open casket, and they will know that I'm thinking about the disaster that was in 2023. It's heartbreaking, but what I want to do today is get a pulse out there. I want to get the pulse of the Phillies season now that everything's wrapped up. And I asked the question on Twitter. I have some calls and some text messages on the text board. So I want to know out there, how do the Phillies fans embrace what was? We're about 1 week removed from the season being over, and I'm in no better place now than I was the night of. It's disgusting. The only good game was Game 1. Game 1 had some juice. Game 1 had an iconic moment. It had a memorable moment. But that's about it. Other than that, it was a joke of a series. Nobody watched it, as I said it would be the case when the series was wrapped up, the NLCS that is, and you saw which 2 teams would compete for the trophy. And for anybody out there saying, how could you ever imagine in a million years this Phillies team that went dead quiet, that couldn't make noise whatsoever, how do you think that they could compete with that Rangers team? And my argument is very simple. Because Texas did not face Zach Wheeler, did they? Am I missing something? Was Zach Wheeler on the mound? One of the most historic, dominant pitcher in the playoffs over the last couple of seasons? I'm sorry, I don't think Arizona has that. And I don't know what version of Aaron Nola we were going to get, but if he was on his A game, he can back that up and support Zach Wheeler as a number 2 very well. And now we're looking at a Ranger Suarez instead of bullpen games like you saw Arizona throw out there, which got annihilated and abused. They put up crooked numbers in back-to-back innings. It's 10-0. I don't care what the game ended up. Oh, Arizona showed fight. Shut up. They got embarrassed, all right? They got absolutely waxed. I don't want to hear it for a damn second. Zach Gallen sucked all playoffs long. Oh, but the no-hitter had it. Shut up. Zach Gallen is not Zach Wheeler. He's not Aaron Nola. And Ranger Suarez is throwing his whip out there like it's a Sandy Koufax, all right? So it's not the same 2 teams competing. Yeah, their offense was unbelievable. Texas, that is. You're just ruling out what we were able to throw starting pitching-wise and how much of a difference it is than Arizona. It's night and day. It's night and day. And with the Phillies offense, you kept hearing this, right? Oh, the Diamondbacks, they manufacture runs. That gets you nowhere. Okay, bunting your third hitter. If I'm in a World Series game and Bryce Harper lays down a bunt, I rip all my hair out. That is garbage. Giving up outs. They had so many issues hitting with runners in scoring position, right? Well, how about you don't give up outs and you give yourself more chances to thrive? Bunting over, it's loser baseball, and you can't win that way. They're an 84-win team, a couple games over 500. It was a disgrace that they made it as far as they did, and there's no one to blame except for the Phillies hitters. It's not about their approach that's problematic. It was the lack of execution, because they were doing the same things leading up to Game 6 and Game 7. They were playing with the same approach. They were executing better and not swinging out of their shoes on pitches that are off the plate in such horrendous spots. They just needed to pick their selection better. The idea of mashing, Texas was scoring runs left and right. All right, and it's not as if Alec Boehm had a billion home runs this year. He had a lot of RBI. He had a nice amount of home runs this year, but he was a key contributor to scoring, and he was a key contributor to getting runs on the board. He wasn't hitting 40-plus home runs. They could do it in other ways. JT can hit a double in the gap. Hell, Nick Castellanos started off the year just putting up doubles left and right consistently, and that was all he was doing. They have the ability. Even Trey Turner. Trey Turner is not some home run hitter. He's an average guy. He just started to swing like a 3-year-old playing baseball in the backyard when your father throws it underhand and you're teaching him the concept for the first time. It was because of a lack of execution, and it sucks because they were so close, and I thought they could have beat that Texas team. They have the firepower to do it if they just played the right way, and they lost it. They lost the ability to see the baseball coming out of the hands, and they were just swinging out of their shoes. It makes me sick. It makes me sick. So, did I watch the World Series? I dabbled here and there. If the Rangers were up, I would have it on my television. That's how it was for me. I couldn't stand watching Arizona play with the lead. They are a joke. Now, my buddy hit me up, the one that I mentioned all the time from Arizona. His name's Robbie, all right? Brett Robinson. He goes by Robbie. So, I texted him yesterday, obviously, ripping him apart, because that's what he did to me as soon as the series was over against the Phillies. And he goes, dude, last year, the Phillies were an 87-win team. What's the difference between 87 wins and 84 wins? And I'll tell you the difference between both teams. The Phillies had star power last year. Do you see Seager? I'm just asking a question. Do you see what Corey Seager can do? Do you see what their big names did in this series? You have Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto, and there were big-named stars, Zach Wheeler. So if you're an 87-win team, but you have upper echelon elite talent at the top of the game in their respected positions, that team in Arizona does not have star talent. They got hot at the right time. All right, I'm not taking anything away from the Diamondbacks, but they stink. And it makes it hurt more knowing that the Phillies actually had a real chance to compete with this Rangers team. And even if the series went 7 and they lost, I know that the Rangers, I think the Phillies are better. All right, I get it. I'm biased, and I love this team to death. Of course, I would think the Phillies are better. I think the Rangers are maybe a 9, and the Phillies could have been a 10. Okay, but a 9 can beat a 10. Hell, a 1 just beat a 10 in the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's how low I think of this Arizona team that you let walk into your ballpark and take 2 when we were supposed to have all the energy behind you, and there's no way in hell anyone can win in that severe level of environment. Oh, dude, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. It went 5. It went 5 and nobody tuned in. It's a joke, which raises the question, what do you prefer? Would you rather be the team that loses to the eventual winner? So will it feel better if you know, okay, hey, we lost, but we lost to the team that won the trophy at the end? Or do you want them to plummet? And my answer is pretty easy. I don't want to see that Arizona team win at all. I was cheering for the Rangers. I was screaming for joy. I wanted Zach Gallen to fail so badly. Of course, he ran his mouth, and I don't care that he threw a no-hitter heading into deep of the game in Game 5. He stunk. He ran his mouth way too much throughout the entire postseason to have the results he did. It's simple for me. I'd rather the Diamondbacks suffer and their fans cry and be super sad and be upset because that's how I'm feeling, and they deserve it. They're not a championship caliber team, and it would be bad for the sport for that garbage small ball. I'm going to bunt my third hitter in the lineup over trash to win a world championship.